All right, welcome back to another edition of the Monday Motivation. We'll talk here. We don't even have to pay attention to that.
Okay.
So we can. Our guest today is Nathan Paetsch. I said it right?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Pretty good.
So Nathan and I are going to go through our Monday Motivation and go through the 5 questions. Nathan is just retired, right?
Yep. Yeah, a couple months ago. And from the NHL, AHL professional hockey arena. Yep.
So the first question I ask everybody is, how did you get to where you are in life, in your career? And what do I mean by that is, what did it take to get into the NHL? And I know that's going to be a long-winded question. Yeah. You could summarize it for us.
Well, basically, I started playing hockey when I was 3 years old. It took a lifetime's dedication to the sport, the craft, but at the end of the day, you can say all you want, different things you had to do, all that, but you just have to love the game. I mean, that's really everything in a nutshell. If you love it, everything else comes easy.
All right. And now, at what point did you realize, like, hey, I kind of am onto something here? Like, was it like, when you were in like mites or peewees, or did you realize it when you were all of a sudden into, you went to what's called the WHL at the age of 16, I believe.
Yeah.
And was that when you like really said like, I'm going all in?
No, I don't think there was ever a time in my life where I wasn't all in. I never saw a future since I was 4 years old that didn't involve me being a professional hockey player. I can't say all of a sudden like something clicked on. I never ever once thought of anything other than that being my life, to be honest with you. So it was always a singular focus, and it's just the way my life transpired. I was fortunate to be good at a young age, so it kind of stuck in my mind, but I really always had that one goal, one focus. And
now, did you go to college? No, you didn't go to college, right? Did you want to play college hockey, or were you always on the path like, I'm going to go juniors? Because that's what for those of you who don't know, from Canada.
Yeah.
If you can't tell by the Canadian accent. Did you say like, you know what, that's what everybody does up in Canada? Because I mean, growing up and playing hockey here in the States, and by no means was I like at that level, but everybody that knew, if you want to go anywhere, you go play juniors in Canada.
Well, it's changed now since when I was younger. When I was younger, everybody that was at the level to play major junior played major junior from Saskatchewan. That's just kind of the path that most people took, so it was kind of a simple decision for me. Now it's a little more difficult. A lot more people are going through the college university route. I think you come out of it a little bit better. There's a lot of rules set up where it's more advantageous to go to the college route. One, not only your college education, but the way the rules are written in the NHL CBA that a lot of people don't know. There's a lot of advantages to coming out a little later from college with the draft and signing if you're at that level. So I would definitely recommend anybody from this area, like if it was my son, if he ever got there, I would rather him go the college route at this point. But there's still a lot of, the major junior is an amazing league. There's a lot of great things, and they offer school after. So there's different routes, and that was just kind of the one that was in front of me at the time.
Nice. And now it's got a lot to do with just God-gift talent, right? Like you can't, an average Joe, in my opinion, you can't just go ahead and get into the NHL just by hard work. Right?
No, it's
talent and then a lot of hard work.
For all the people that play, I don't know what the stats, but it's pretty astronomical. I think all the people that play under 1% ever make pro or college, and then under that 1%, or sorry, make college or higher rank than 1% of that makes pro or the NHL. It's you can't just go off hard work, because there's a lot of amazing hardworking people that just didn't have the talent, unfortunately, to move forward. But you need the hard work with the talent if you're going to make it.
So now, when you, let's just go ahead and say, when you reached, juniors, and you were doing really well, and then you got drafted, and now I doing a little homework, I saw that you were drafted by the Capitals in 2001, was it?
Yeah, 2001.
And now, then you were somehow drafted by the Sabres in 2003.
Yeah.
How did that work? I have no clue.
It was a little different rule system back then. So signing bonuses were extremely high back then. I was a second rounder, high pick. So it was a lot more teams tended to walk away if they were uncertain on higher picks, just because of the financial upfront.
Oh, okay.
The rules are a little different, so they decided not to sign me. So then I went back in the draft, and I was redrafted 2 years later, and then turned pro in Rochester that following season. So it was probably like 4 months after being drafted by the Sabres.
So when you reached that level, so you got drafted by the Sabres, you played with the Amherst, right, to start off, because that's their AHL team, which is like, would you say it's like the development of players in that league?
Yeah, it's a development league. That's the main focus.
When you reach that level, you've now made it. Do you, like, what motivates you to keep going? Obviously, probably just to be in the NHL, right?
Well, I mean, I think the biggest motivation when you get to that level, it's not just to be in NHL. You motivate to want to be your best. It also, you want to win. I think that's a lot of the underdriving. A lot of guys are just, guys love hockey, but a lot of the guys, if you really peel it back, they just love to compete and they love to win at whatever they do. You'll go as a hockey team, you'll go bowling, and guys get ultra competitive, or out in the golf course, stuff like that. So I think that underlies obviously the love of hockey, and that's usually where the reason guys are there, because they're amazing at hockey. But that competitive side was with them all through life, all through childhood. Got
it. Well, that's awesome. And then I ask everybody, and your answer is going to be different now that you're retired. But what time of the day did you wake up when you were playing hockey and kind of like in top shape and everything else like that? What time of the day did you wake up? And then I want to know what is it like now? And the reason I ask this question, I tell everybody, the reason I ask this question is because I'm trying to see if there's a direct correlation of what time of the day people wake up and whether or not they are successful in their area.
Gotcha. I would say when I was playing hockey, it all depended on our schedule. Most of the time, we usually had practice at 10:30, so you'd be up at probably 7:45, 8-ish. That was pretty routine. You're on 6 days a week and 1 day off. Summer workouts, it all depended on when the workout was. Ours were usually, the last couple of years, ours were early. I think we started at 9:30, and it was across town, so I'd be up sometimes at 6:30 or 7 o'clock. Now it's basically wake up with the kids. I mean, once you get a certain age, your life revolves around the kids, so it's when they're up and have to be somewhere, you're up.
Right. Now, how was it, just a sidetrack, how is it when you see your son playing hockey, and he's playing at a pretty high level now, right? Like he's on was it like a premier team?
Yeah, AAA team.
AAA team. Yeah. How is it seeing him play compared to, when now that you're looking down and saying like, oh wow, this is great.
It's just fun. It's because at 10, it's just such a pure love of the game. There's no other pressure. There's not the other stuff that comes with pro hockey, and not the expectations, the pressures. It's hockey in its purest form, and to be able to watch my son do it it's its best.
That's pretty cool. What the next question I ask is when you get stressed, and there's different level of stress, especially at that level. You get stress of winning, right? Yeah. Stress of am I going to be on the team next year? When my contract's up and things like that. How do you relieve stress? Are you one that works out to relieve stress? Are you one that has a cocktail or two? Are you one to just gorge and eat? Right?
Probably not the eating as much. A little bit of everything. I mean, the guys always would go out for dinners and have a couple drinks. Just camaraderie or something like that. Or I mean, at the end of my career, meditation, stuff like that.
So that was huge. I've been trying meditation. I find it definitely works, but it's very hard to get in kind of like a rhythm of doing it every day. Yeah. Was it like an everyday thing that you did for a little bit, or was it just like little pockets?
It was pockets. I would say it was never extremely routine, but I know some guys that were really regimented with it and were, it was very effective. I always tried to set aside a little time wherever it was, especially on game days and stuff. Like maybe it was before my pregame nap or something. I got in a pretty good routine, like at least 10, 15 minutes before my pregame naps.
Oh, nice. Pregame naps.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Miss those. That's probably the biggest thing I miss. Any guy that retires will tell you they miss the pregame naps.
Yeah. So real quick with pregame stuff, naps. Are you like superstitious? I feel like most people get superstitious about things. Yeah. I mean, with the Buffalo Sabres now, I feel like I feel like your brother-in-law Ian and I, we watch it now every game together. So I feel like he's got to be there now next game. Like we can't break that. So did you eat anything particular before every game? Did you took a nap? Obviously, you did a little meditation.
I wasn't too strict. Like Probably the weirdest thing I would do superstition, depending on where it was. When I was in Grand Rapids, we had 3 urinals, and when I was in Rochester, we had 2. And this is a weird thing. I'd always start, depending on if we won or how we were playing, at one urinal. And if the period was bad, I'd switch urinals. And then if we had a good period after that, I'd stay at that urinal. And that urinal was, we had 3 urinals, and sometimes there'd be one guy, and I'd have to stand and wait.
You'd be like, there's an open urinal, dude.
Yeah, I know. And I'm like, this is the weirdest superstition ever, but
that's great though. I mean, if it works, right? Why change it?
Yeah, it was a bizarre one. Even I'd say it to myself, like, man, this is weird.
Some of the accomplishments that you've had, where you won the Calder Cup, which is, you know, the big championship in the AHL. You won that twice, right?
Twice, yep.
As an assistant captain and a captain, no?
Yep.
In Grand Rapids.
Yep.
So that's huge. That's
yeah.
And now once you reach that, like the next year, you're just saying like, we got to do it again, right?
Yeah, you get that extra hunger. I didn't know because it took me a while. It's probably, I think, 28, 29, my first Calder Cup, and it gives you such a hunger to always want it every year. Like, it made it even more. Like, I always wanted a championship so bad, but I didn't even know till after winning my first one how bad I even more wanted it moving forward. So that's why you see these guys, some people say, well, would you lose your motivation? And those guys never do, because you get that taste, and it's almost addicting to be a champion, and you just strive that much more for it.
Yeah, and I mean, you see it with all these teams that win one championship and then they go back the next year. You're just like, how do they keep that hunger? But I guess it's just like you said, it's addictive. Once you got that, you want to keep it going.
You want to say you're the best, and once you are known as the best, you don't want to give it up.
Yeah, that's why I'm on the podcast, right? 'Cause, I'm the best one. No. So the last question I asked for the Monday Motivation is, if there was a billboard of you in Times Square, which really not that far fetched, right? You could have one.
I'd say it's pretty aggressive.
But if there was a billboard of you in Times Square, what would it say on it? It could be you doing anything. It could be you playing hockey. It could be you coaching hockey, because you now coach your son's team. It could be you with your family. It could be you doing whatever. What would it normally say on that, so millions of people that are walking through Times Square will see?
That's tough. There's a lot of different quotes that I love and stuff, but one of my favorite things, and I like to pass on, is just, if you're going to do something, do it 110%. I mean, that was always my motivation, is whether you're going to do it or not. If you're going to do it, you do it properly, and you put everything you possibly can in, and if not, just don't do it. Don't waste anybody's time. So if you're going to get committed to something, and I think that's what helped me play so long and so many years extra a pro career, is a lot of guys would say, well, your last 2 years, you're not playing much. How do you do it? And I had committed to playing hockey still and being that season, so I gave it absolutely everything I had. So and the last game you played, didn't you score? Yep. Yeah.
And the first game you played, you got your first point, right?
First
NHL?
NHL game.
NHL, yeah.
Yeah, my first NHL game, I got an assist.
Yeah, that was. I'm sorry. I think I can't remember the team that I played, but
played the Devils.
The Devils, yeah. Okay.
I know because Gio. I forgot I played against Gio, and we're close friends. So
okay.
I was like, I forgot my first game was against you.
All right. Well, thank you very much for being on the Monday Motivation. You're going to be back for whatever Wednesday in basically 5 minutes. All right.
Skip it to Wednesday. Time work.